So today
we're reviewing
The Black Phone.
So we just got back from watching The Black Phone. This is a movie that I saw a trailer for a while ago. Wasn't really looking forward to it, but it was a movie that I've been trying to see more movies that I don't really know for sure whether I'm going to like it or even looking forward to it. And we're joined by Megan today on the channel and Marley. But Jake, what were your initial thoughts of The Black Phone?
I mean, going into the movie, I didn't really know exactly what to think going into it. The trailers were interesting, and all of the feedback from people that have seen this movie was very positive.
Just keep going. She's going to keep scratching.
I think flashbacks to Bryce right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, going to the movie theater, I was expecting a really good movie, and I left the theater pleasantly surprised. It was a really well acted movie, and there's a lot to enjoy about it. And I think I would have to say it was a good time to movie theater with this movie.
Megan, what were your overall thoughts of the movie? Initial thoughts.
I really liked it. I mean, there's a lot of actors that I'm a fan of, and all the acting in the movie was pretty well done, which is a big part of thriller movies like that. You really have to make it believable. I didn't see much. I saw one TV spot. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I think
I
saw one small clip in whatever movie I was seeing. But other than that, I didn't see too much like promotion for this movie. They kind of kept it a secret, which I like.
That's true. That was a very short trailer we saw. It basically was.
That saves a lot. So you go into the movie really not knowing anything. But after I got the idea of what the movie was about, I was hooked on it. There was a lot of tension. It kept me on the edge of my seat. I was wondering what was going to happen a lot. So I liked it.
Yeah, I did not know what to think about this movie. Didn't really know what to expect. There are a lot of big actors, like you mentioned, but there's a lot of good stuff here. There's a lot of tension. It seems like a good movie to come out around Halloween time, but it was still a good movie nonetheless. And there were a lot of positives I have with it. And why don't we go into our main positives?
I mean, for this movie itself, I think one of my concerns going into it was going to be, was this going to be actually scary? I kept watching the trailers. I'm like, how can this concept be that entertaining and scary enough? Like the villain himself, I think his actor's name is Ethan Hawke, who's done some great performances in other movies. I was worried, will he actually be scary in this role? Because when I think of him, I think of really funny moments in other scary movies. Yeah. And I was like, am I going to be able to take this character seriously? But they do a great job of making him as scary as you possibly could make him as who he is. And there's some great... And the tension's probably the best thing in this movie. Just kind of seeing this through the kid's point of view, which, once again, there's a lot of callbacks to other movies in my mind. Like seeing that movie, you see it from the kid's perspective, which I think makes the tension a lot higher. And this movie did a good job of making very tense sequences and making the things seem very claustrophobic, which was probably the intention of the movie. And I think the match of great acting, because everyone did a great job. I think the two kid actors did a phenomenal job. And from the acting to the music to the tension, it was exactly what you want to see in a mystery like horror. So yeah, great performances all around.
Megan, what are your main positives with the film?
I don't like films that are slow, or there are parts in movies that just don't make sense and kind of take you out of that movie feeling. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But this one, I feel like every scene had it added well to the movie. Everything kind of went well together. There's nothing that didn't make sense.
Well.
Yeah, it did flow really well. Thank you. The acting was good. Everything just kind of mashed well together.
Mashed.
But I also just like mystery and thrillers, movies with a lot of tension, so I'm kind of biased, but I didn't really know that was going to be the type of movie. I thought it was going to be more of a horror movie, but I like that it wasn't all horror. There was other aspects to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of good acting here. Obviously, the main kid actor is really good in this movie. Basically has to take on a lot of this movie because, well, I don't want to spoil it, but you see from the trailers, he's abducted. He has a lot of screen time with just him and really no one else. It's mainly just him and the main villain in this movie. And like you said, I was worried about this movie, thinking, how is it going to be scary? I really was thinking the same thing, but it was scary. There's a few moments I jumped, so that did a good job there. I jumped a few times.
Yep.
They weren't cheap jump scares either.
No.
And there were really scary moments, a lot of tension, like you mentioned. I did not mean to rhyme there. And I really didn't know what was going to happen. I was thinking, what's going to happen next? Who's going to survive? Who's going to do this? Like, I really did not know what was going to happen at all. And you know a movie's doing well when you can't predict everything. And I didn't predict anything that happened, really.
It was very unpredictable.
Yeah, it was very unpredictable, which is a big positive. And the music was good, the sound effects, and there were really cool scenes, and there's a lot of good positives. Why don't we get into our negatives for the film?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, overall, I really enjoyed it. But as far as negatives go, I think the marketing and what I was expecting, I kind of went into it expecting more of a horror element. And I think I need to start tampering my expectations for certain movies going into them, because I'm always expecting there to be some bombastic, like crazy ending, especially movies like this, given the horror movies that we've seen in the past. But I would say I was expecting more of a horror aspect, less than the mystery aspect. But I still think I was able to enjoy the movie as a mystery type movie with horror elements mixed in. But because it wasn't as horror based as I thought, that might have affected my enjoyment a little bit. The way it ended, I really enjoyed the ending, and it really did end in a. It finished well for me, even though I was expecting a bigger, crazier, insane ending. It was still, I liked how it wrapped the story up, and you leave the theater with basically no questions left unanswered for the most part, except for stuff that you want to see, like maybe added in or something. But it was overall, those are my only negatives, I think.
Megan, what were your negatives? I don't think you have many negatives.
I have two, but they're like small and.
Are they spoilers?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Probably the lack of like advertising for this movie, because I don't know if you didn't bring it up, I would have wanted to see it. I mean, I knew it was coming out because it's on like the list of movies that are coming out, but I don't know if I would have been drawn to it, because the trailers didn't really draw me in too much, because they didn't give you a lot to go off of, like, oh, this is about this. You kind of just went into it knowing nothing.
I saw a trailer like a year ago for this, and then I didn't see any more trailers, so it's kind of weird.
See, I didn't see anything but that small clip, so I didn't know much about it.
Going off what you just said really quick, I think the marketing, maybe I'm wrong on this, I'm pretty sure every time I saw the trailer in the theaters, it was it was like a 15-second trailer. Like it wasn't a full trailer, so which is good. I mean, if they just showed too much, well, I didn't see that, but I'm glad all I saw was the little 15-20 second thing in the theaters, because I think if you showed too much, like,
maybe that was
it might have ruined it would have given too much stuff away. So which I think that's the point of it. I went into it not knowing what to expect, so I guess that was probably part of the reason why you didn't see. Maybe there was a full trailer, but I didn't see a full trailer ever before the movie.
But my second thing was, actually, I don't know. Well, we all know there's a bad guy in this.
Yeah, you see him now.
There just wasn't a lot of explanation on why he was doing what.
Yeah.
But all we knew is that he was a bad guy, and that's pretty much it. And I'm really into backstory and like why he's doing this. If
true.
Whoever he was went through something, or like changed his mindset. That's kind of what I was hoping for, but.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about that. Do you have any more negatives?
No, I don't know if these are spoilers or not.
Well, yeah, that is a good point, though, because we were kind of talking about that. It's implied that, he's kidnapping people, so, I mean, there's stuff implied there. Obviously, why does anyone kidnap anyone? But there is, with, like, movies like this, you would think there'd be more explanations. That probably is a spoiler. But there's stuff behind the main villain that, yeah, they explain a lot in this movie, but there is some stuff, you still have a lot of questions when the credits roll. But my only negatives would maybe be some character decisions. There's some character decisions that frustrate me in the movie that I'm like, that's not realistic, that I can't really go into. But honestly, thinking about it, I don't have many negatives. I mean, a lot of this movie, it flows really well. There's, like I said, there's some character decisions, and this is set back in time a little bit, but there's just
80s.
certain... Yeah, maybe the 80s, and certain things just didn't seem very realistic, and kind of dumb decisions by just people in general that I'm thinking, okay, in the current situation, I think this would have been handled differently. But I guess that's really my only negatives with the film. So why don't we go into our score?
Anyways, for my score, I have to say I left the theater enjoying the movie. There was definitely some like I said, really well acted scenes where I was uncomfortable with scenes, which is obviously supposed to happen. It wasn't like in a bad way. And like I said, there's been a lot of movies that have came out in the past where the kid actors, it's not their fault, they're kids. It's not as believable, but these kids did a great job. And obviously, this is a movie based around a lot of kids, and almost every single kid did a good job, and that's a big reason why it delivered. Because if these kids would have been not acted well, this could have been it would have really hurt the movie.
Right.
So, hats off to them, and they carried the movie for the most part. And Ethan Hawke did a great job. Props to him for having the mask on as much as he did. In today's world, most actors don't allow it to happen, so major credit to him. And I would have to say, I give this movie, the more I think about it, there's definitely things I wish could have been explained more. But as a mystery horror movie, it's hard to get much better than this.
Just pick her up at the end of this.
So I'd have to give this movie I think an 8.5 out of 10. I'm going between 8.5 and 9, but I'm going to stay with 8.5 for now. But I think I might see it again, and I might raise that or lower that depending on how I like it the second time. So I'll go with 8.5 out of 10.
Megan, what would you give this movie?
I would give it a 10.
She was talking about giving it a 10,
That's
and
it.
you gave it a 10.
Well, I'm a writer, so this, I don't know.
Been writing a book. I mean,
No.
Wait, you're right.
I just think that this whole story was written well and everything was acted out well, and I think that when you said think of negatives, it was really hard for me to actually find a negative that was in the movie. So,
you know,
I
I
think
felt the
if
same
I
way.
can't find many flaws within the story, then it deserves a 10.
Well, that's a good thing when the negatives are like the storyline. It's not about anything about the movie. It's about what you wish the story would have been
Yeah.
different. So
That's why when I
right.
couldn't think of one, it was a pretty good movie.
yeah, that's why I was thinking about the same thing. There's a lot of movies where there's certain movies that are just bland, and you don't think negatives. Well, it's just kind of bland, and it keeps a low score. This one, I really didn't think of any negatives other than a few character decisions. And this movie, it was really interesting, and it didn't slow down. It was a shorter movie, but it definitely felt really short, which is a
Wish it
good
was
sign.
longer.
Yeah, honestly, it probably could have been. Explain
Yeah.
some things. We'll go over in the spoilers. But it was really good acting. The villain was really well done. The main kid actor in this movie did a great job. It's interesting all the way throughout. I didn't know it was going to happen. There were some good scares. And I'd probably stick with an 8.5 as well, like Jake. Because, I mean, there's a lot of good horror movies. And I think if it would have done a little bit of more explaining, the more I think about it, there's a lot of stuff that I still wish would have been more explained. They would have went deeper into. That probably could have raised this up to into the 9s or 10s.
Well, was it horror though? Was it under the
I
horror
was going to say,
category?
do you view this movie as more horror or mystery?
It's thriller mystery, in my opinion.
I feel like
I can't really view this as a horror movie. In my
I just
mind.
feel like I have to view it as a horror movie because you got a scary guy with a mask. I mean, nonetheless, there's great tension. This was a really good, interesting movie, and I think an 8.5 is a solid score. I'm trying to watch my scores because in the past I've given everything a 10 out of 10, so I'm trying to be like careful about it. Which you haven't given many 10s, so
Well, I wasn't in the review, but I thought Jurassic was
yeah,
a
what
4.
Well, yeah, but we'll cut it out. But
Give
yeah,
it an
I thought it was
8.5.
good. Give it a
Let's
10.
not forget that.
For the
Chris Pratt
Black
did a good
Phone.
job. What do you give it?
This was our review for the Black Phone. Want to wrap it up?
Yeah, no, there's definitely lots to like about it. So thanks for watching our non-spoiler review of The Black Phone. Let us know what you thought about the movie. If you saw it, definitely would recommend to go check it out.
Rated
so
R.
yeah, go check it out. It is rated R. And yeah, give us your scores in the comment section below, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.
What are you doing?
Are you ready? Are you
Do
ready?
research here, so I'm ready to talk.
Well, if you're not ready, then tell me. Are you ready?
I'm sitting here.
Jake.
Okay.